Spokane police say one of the biggest issues we're seeing right here downtown is people coming right up to windows like this and breaking them. Gardner says there are 5 locations on campus fitted with the Campus Outdoor Warning System, or COWS for short. You can see the speakers way off in the distance behind me on top of that building. So when I'm done in my office and I'm ready to chill in my room, I just turn down the heat here and turn it up here so I can hang out in my room comfortably without wasting too much energy. While the atrium at Terrell Library is generally a quiet threshold into the stacks and study spaces, the School of Music turned it into a symphony of music in support of Ukraine on Friday and Tuesday. Wigley says Pullman Regional Hospital has partnered with Insight Diagnostics to open an off-site testing facility just down the road from the hospital. If you look at the box, it says Mutt Mitt, but if you look inside the box, there's no mitts because the city of Spokane hasn't been restocking them. People are angry. Ever since the city of Spokane put in a park right here, we've seen growth in local breweries in the neighborhood upwards of 50%. And even songs that can be accessed on a QR code like this one. And they're all on display here in the GSORC office for the whole month of April. This is the first time the Cougs have gone to the NIT since 2011 and the second time in program history. So Murrow News 8 reporter Colby Ennebrad will be there to cover it for us. That's all from me. Back to Michelle for more sports. The energy, you can feel the kids are, they're getting ready for their heat. So you can see they're actually getting pretty excited. But we will have a high of 55, so that'll be a little bit nicer than today. Let's take a look at the state map. Starting over on the west side, we have thunder in Seattle. That's a little bit different than what we've had lately. We have about a 50% chance of thunderstorms there, high of 49 and a low of 38. And then we have some showers in Olympia as well. WSU's Services and Activities Fee Committee voted to increase the fee from $540 to $559 to offset declining enrollment rates and rising inflation. According to the Daily Evergreen, 19 Pullman campus groups or organizations requested a total of nearly $13 million from S&A fee revenue. The committee approved nearly $10 million worth of allocations. Any group that requested an increase received a 4.4% cut. If you're traveling from the east side to the west side of Washington, there is a major detour. Motorists heading in all directions at the junction of State Route 26 and U.S. Highway 395 near Lind can bypass via a marked detour onto country roads. The WSU men's basketball team is taking on #1 ranked Texas A&M in the NIT semifinals at Madison Square Garden tonight. Our very own reporter Colby Ennebrad is at the stadium in New York City to report on the game right now.
Well, we send out a notification when there's imminent harm that is likely on campus.
WSU students and staff received a few emergency drill notifications, including emails and text messages last week. Office of Emergency Management Director Christina Sanders says there's a reason.
We do that to make sure that everything is up and running and functional. You don't want to find out that something's not working well when in an emergency situation. So we typically do a test every semester.
Sanders says all departments involved in deciding to send notifications try to limit how many are sent to reduce complacency and comfortability receiving emergency messages.
And in a real serious emergency where they could be in danger, they don't pay close attention to it because we send out too many notifications.
Emergency Management Coordinator Sarah Blattner says students can sign up for these notifications through their MyWSU account under Emergency Notifications. Executive Director of Public Safety and WSU Police Chief Bill Gardner says they also use Campus Outdoor Warning System sirens for certain kinds of emergencies, though there's no uniform definition of when to use them. Gardner says there are 5 locations on campus fitted with the Campus Outdoor Warning System, or COWS for short. You can see the speakers way off in the distance behind me on top of that building. If you were on campus during the last drill, you probably heard the warning siren play. Now, Gardner says it is up to public safety administrators to determine whether or not cows get used in an emergency. Like when there's an imminent danger on campus. Gardner says it's best for students and staff to have thought about how they'll respond to emergencies.
There's a lot of evidence that somebody who has thought through an emergency will handle even a different kind of emergency better than someone who's never considered it.
Reporting from Pullman, Alex McCollum, Murrow News 8. As the Russian invasion of Ukraine continues, institutions at WSU are coming together to show their support for the country.
My mission, and if I can put it this way, our mission as a whole is to connect humanity through art.
While the atrium at Terrell Library is generally a quiet threshold into the stacks and study spaces, the School of Music turned it into a symphony of music in support of Ukraine on Friday and Tuesday. Assistant Professor of Violin and Viola Dr. Cristiano Rodriguez says he organized the two concerts after watching news coverage of the invasion and performing two Ukrainian pieces at a School of Music convocation the following day.
I immediately started thinking, well, maybe we as a school should do something.
So Rodriguez reached out to several of his colleagues in the School of Music to ask if they would like to perform at the Terrell Atrium. Two of those colleagues being Dr. Julie Ann Wick and pianist Elena Panchenko, who's from Ukraine.
So it was very heartwarming for me when Dr. Rodriguez reached out and said that that's what's being planned.
As close as it is to my heart, it is 10 times or more close to Elena's heart. And so it was important for us to be part of that concert.
Wick and Panchenko performed two pieces from Ukrainian composers.
Both of them appeal to the sense of patriotism in Ukrainian people, the sense of pride in their country. And I think it's very important now when people are fighting to have this feeling of support and solidarity and pride.
It's a unifying thing, it's an inspiring thing. Music is consoling.
Rodriguez concluded the concert with Song of the Birds by Pablo Casals, a song calling for peace.
We're capable of destroying a lot with hate, but we're able to create, rebuild, recreate 10 times fold with love.
In Pullman, Alex McCollum, Murrow News 8. Good morning, I'm Alex McCollum. Thanks for joining us. New this morning, a car crash in October 2020 now has one man heading to prison for 27 months. Back in October of 2020, prosecutors say 41-year-old Casey Walker hit a truck on purpose on I-90 and flipped it. Walker's Jeep caught fire in the crash and killed his passenger. His first trial ended in a mistrial, but this time around, a jury is convicting him. He'll serve over 2 years in Spokane County Jail. And in other crime news, small business owners in Brown's Addition are saying that they're fed up with crime after the owner of Brown's Bistro had another break-in. The business says it has been broken into several times, and in the process, thieves also have stolen security cameras, but one camera was rolling to catch this man who broke in on Monday. The owner of Brown's Bistro says the string of break-ins has scared her as a small business owner.
I feel like I'm being violated. As a small business owner, I'm struggling anyway, and then to have someone blatantly just come in and decide to steal stuff. And yeah, I think it's our crime rate has risen.
Spokane police say that the crime rate has increased, but the problem is many of the people arrested for breaking in are people that have been arrested before.
We make arrests every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. So yeah, it's definitely frustrating.
The best thing to do is keep an eye on your surroundings and report anything suspicious. And this week, Senator Steve Daines became the first U.S. leader to visit Ukraine following the Russian invasion. After visiting mass graves, Senator Daines said, quote, "The images of shallow mass graves filled with civilians, women, and children are heart-wrenching." He says America and the world need to know about Putin's atrocities. I had a chance to talk with the senator yesterday. Here's some of what he had to say.
Ordinary daily lives to be brutally cut short by absolute acts of evil. These are war crimes. It's indisputable. The evidence is before our very eyes, and I had a chance to see it. I believe that Vladimir Putin should be fully prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and someday justice will be served.
It's very sad, women, children, and civilians. The senator went on to say President Joe Biden should visit Ukraine and that the United States should open its embassy in Ukraine. Camp Hope has been a place of refuge for those experiencing homelessness, but as the camp grows, so do the questions surrounding homelessness in Spokane. What's being done and where do we go from here? You've likely passed Camp Hope on your way to work or maybe on your way home, but for many, Camp Hope is their home. Alex Peebles spent a day at the camp talking to the people living there, asking their thoughts on the new shelter the city is implementing.
I've lost a lot of people, man. I've lost a lot of people, dude. And yeah, that's why I just don't want. Yeah. I just don't want my grandma to have to bury another one of her kids, you know.
James Burris has been battling his addiction for years. First, it was meth, then fentanyl. Now, he's just trying to move forward.
I'm still not clean. Like, I got off the fentanyl pills, but I'm still a struggling meth addict, man.
Everyone at the camp with their own stories, their own struggles.
I'm basically killing myself sitting in my car.
This camp not only gives them a sense of community, it gives them hope. Hope for their future.
That's the main reason I'm down here helping, is because my people are here. I may not be houseless anymore, but I'm still part of this community. And I will always be part of this community.
And like any community, the people living at Camp Hope aren't perfect. And they say they're not pretending to be.
Well, and you see all these news articles, people, car prowlers, this, that, and everything else. Yeah, those guys are out there, but they're not here. We have crime inside here, you know, and we deal with it. On how we escort people off the property, we, you know, deal with it accordingly.
Not perfect. Some may be far from it. But for Robert and James, at least, they say, day by day, they're making an effort to be better.
Having to have my son wake up every morning cold, not knowing where we're going to go, and his favorite place to go was Motel 6. I don't want that.
Insinuating that I'm some sort of threat. All I'm doing is trying to get some food that I can barely afford, but I'm here trying to make my way too, you know. And
how does it make you feel to be looked at like that?
It sucks, man. Like, that's why I do the meth, right? Like, it gives me
like your escape?
No, it's my only reason to wake up.
That was Alex Peebles reporting. Thanks, Alex. And now with the threat of being moved looming, the people living here say they just want to be a part of the conversation. On another note, several people have written to us about people in the camp now using RVs. Dozens of RVs were donated to people there. They came from Divine's Towing and were told they were sold to the people in the Camp Hope for $1 a piece. We did reach out to Washington's Department of Transportation about the issue. WashDOT actually owns the land on which Camp Hope is located at 2nd and Ray. The department said in a statement, quote, "We are aware that several RVs have been illegally placed on and around WashDOT property. This is an illegal action and we are looking at ways to have them removed with cooperation from our local law enforcement partners. We were encouraged by the news that was released yesterday by the city of Spokane that they have found a potential location to house those at the encampment." And you viewers can read the entire quote on khq.com. And that shelter DOT references is this: located on East Trent, the city of Spokane negotiating a lease right now, although there is no definitive timeline on when that will be signed. Spokane police arrested a 30-year-old man for stealing a catalytic converter from a car parked at a store in North Spokane. Witnesses say Kennard Supak and another man actually used a metal saw to cut out the piece in broad daylight. They got the converter and did nearly $3,000 in damage to the victim's car in the process. Police got this picture of their truck, which led to Supak, and they still say that they're looking for the second man involved. And in health news, 2 chicken flocks in Idaho have now tested positive for bird flu, which should serve as a warning to bird owners. The 2 cases were identified nearly 200 miles apart, one in Gooding County, the other in Caribou County. While it can be deadly in birds, the disease rarely crosses over to humans and is minor when it does, but this flu has increased egg prices around the region.
People are going to be paying more for eggs. There's just no way to get around it. You decrease supplies, and there's an increased cost of production. The result is that consumers will foot some of that expense.
Month alone in the Midwest has seen a 60% increase in egg prices just from the bird flu alone.
Come on, Harry, we want to say goodnight to you.
Trending this morning, Harry Styles has broken a world record because, you know, he's Harry Styles, that's what he does. He releases songs every 3 years and then they break records and everybody loves them and they're on the radio for 6 months. Harry has broken the record for the most streamed track in 24 hours on Spotify for a male artist with his new single, As It Was. The song was released on April 1st and garnered 16 million streams in its first 24 hours on Spotify. And it also makes As It Was Styles' second Hot 100 single after his 2019 hit Watermelon Sugar. I still have to listen to this song. I haven't given it a full listen yet. I've seen the ads on Instagram where he's spinning around on a record. I want to get more into Harry Styles. I'm definitely into his ex-girlfriend, Taylor Swift, and all the songs that she wrote about him on 1989. We'll have more news coming up for you guys shortly. Stay tuned.